But we start here this morning with hundreds of people who worked at the United States Agency for International Development, or USAID, who are now cleaning out their desks today. It comes the very same day CBS News has confirmed nearly $60 billion in grants have been cut from USAID and the State Department. CBS News congressional correspondent Caitlin Huey-Burns is live outside of USAID headquarters this morning in Washington and joins me now. So I can see already behind you, Caitlin, there's a group of people that are gathered. Who are they and what are you seeing?
Yeah, you can see a group gathered. They've been growing by the minutes here. And essentially, anytime a worker or now a former worker of USAID comes out of the building with their belongings, this crowd is cheering them on. What is happening today is that USAID workers were given an increment of time, 15 minutes, to come in and clear out their belongings from their desks or workspaces. That is throughout the day and kind of depending on what specific department. So we've been here since about 7:30 this morning, and we've seen people inside going into the offices with suitcases, with reusable grocery bags to collect their belongings. I talked to several people who were in tears, in shock about the way in which they were rapidly fired. I also talked to a former or a current Foreign Service officer who does a lot of work with USAID and is feeling in a limbo mode, has been working abroad and is coming back, about to go on another assignment. So a lot of feelings here are similar to how it would be in any sort of workspace where there have been mass layoffs and people saying goodbye to their friends and colleagues and trying to figure out what's next.
As you know, the Supreme Court also weighed in on some of the frozen spending at USAID. What did the Chief Justice say, and what does it mean going forward?
That's right. So the administration canceled all of this money in foreign assistance, and there was a federal court judge who ruled that they need to pay out those contracts. This was appealed to the Supreme Court, who ruled in an emergency ruling last night, essentially just giving a pause, not ruling on the merits of the case, but essentially saying, here you go, you have more time to kind of figure this all out. As you mentioned, we have new reporting today coming from the State Department saying that they have canceled up to 10,000 contracts, about $54 billion worth of USAID contracts, and about 6,000 contracts in total. So they are trying to say that this is amounting to real savings here, but the question, of course, is at what cost? And something else in that note, Vlad, that was stood out to me is that the State Department said that they finished a 90-day review of all foreign assistance through the State Department and through USAID. As you know, the administration has not been in office for 90 days. They've been in office for just about over 30 days. So there are questions about who conducted those reviews and what exactly went into those reviews of these contracts.
All right. So will we see a ripple effect after, as we pointed out, some 92% of these foreign grants were cut? What is that going to do? I mean, I think that people sometimes, most Americans want to see if there's fraud or if there's corruption or abuse. They don't want to see that. But I think also there's a disconnect between the work that USAID does and the very real consequences for people all over the world who rely on this. I mean, we could see people succumbing to disease, to famine, to starvation, and a lack of access to clean water.
Yeah, Vlad, I think that's a really important point, to not just focus on the workers, but the work that they were doing. And there are questions about the contracts that do remain, what they are actually doing and what has actually been canceled. We also know from my reporting on Capitol Hill, talking to lawmakers in states, that where USAID has a benefit to them. For example, lawmakers in Kansas have raised some alarms about what this would do for food programs run through USAID, on which Kansas farmers depend. And we've seen a lot of that kind of across the country as well. So really just highlighting the kind of work that they're doing, not necessarily the workers themselves.
All right. Caitlin Huey-Burns reporting from outside of USAID headquarters this morning. Thank you very much.